Hello everyone and welcome back to Torchlight. I just thought I'd take you along for the rest of this second level of the Shadow dungeon. At least I think that's what it is. But yeah, I'm fairly certain it is. I was doing a bit of a leveling and grinding spree, I guess. Already used that enchanting shrine. And I did have something I wanted to ask. Not so certain people will. Not so certain people are really watching these, but since it's not Minecraft stuff. Silly pet, always running away.
Your pet.
But I have recently gotten on a Steam sale the expansion to XCOM Enemy Unknown, and which is called Enemy Within. And I have done a let's play for that game before, but that was in German. So the question is, would you guys be interested in seeing a let's play of XCOM with the add-on, I guess? In English, of course. So this video would be the place to tell me. I dislike the slowing effect that spiders put on you.
Your pet is free. Quest complete.
And that's the glory quest for Gar completed, I think. I don't know how much bigger this level is actually going to be. Should be enemies in here, yep. I think I should be approaching the end by now, but I'm not exactly certain. So yeah, let me know. XCOM Enemy Unknown, it's a sort of squad-based strategy game. It's a remake of the old XCOM games, but don't be frightened by that. If you've played the old XCOM games for whatever reason, it does somewhat simplify aspects of the game. Most importantly, it now has a tutorial, so it's a lot more easy to get into the game. I do have the old XCOM games, but they are a bit of a pain to just get going in, because the games back then did not really think about providing tutorials. Now in addition to that, the XCOM games are actually glitched in rather terrible ways. I've lost 2 save games with a few hours of gameplay on them, because if you do research in sort of the wrong order, you end up blocking certain paths of research. Like if you research, I don't know what it was because it's been such a long time ago, well, a few years I guess, a while ago. But yeah, if you research, say, plasma grenades before you do general energy weapons or something, you might end up losing the ability to ever research jet engines or whatever.
I am overburdened.
Okay. If you hold shift while pressing to pick something up, your pet will automatically try to get it.
I can't do that.
Yep, I know. So all of this can definitely go away. This is a quest item for
A quest has
for
been
Gar.
completed.
That was the one for Gar. So the boss bounty I did was not for Gar. Okay. That works for me.
Your pet has fled.
My pet is so very brave. So let's give him a potion. I'm still using the weak potions, I don't even know exactly why, but I guess there you have it. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. These are the probably nastiest of these Tutara guys. These war cutters. Alright. Ouch. That was nasty. Well, let's resurrect at the entrance to the floor and get back into action. I'm not going to take that defeat. I was talking about XCOM, wasn't I? Yeah, a lot of these modern remakes of old games, I guess some of them, like the HD remakes, they tend to basically be the exact same game with prettier textures. I think where I noticed it most, but I haven't actually played it intensely, was with the Age of Empires 2 HD edition. From what I could see, and I've only seen a friend play it, so I might be wrong here, but from what I could see, that was the exact same game with prettier textures. Like, that was all it was. They didn't add anything new, didn't change anything from what I could see. They just added prettier textures, which were not that pretty, to be honest. Honestly, it was to me more like an HD patch for the game, like something you might buy to have, well, HD in the game, I guess. But it did not seem to me like something worth paying the price of another game for. But anyway.
Insufficient mana.
Okay. I want this tree to be gone because he keeps draining my mana. And then I can get this grave robber guy. Okay.
You have sprung a trap.
So there are those kinds of remakes, but the XCOM one is actually, I think, very good. It does add a lot more story to the game, which I think, from the bits I've played in the original XCOM games, the story was quite limited to sort of, there's aliens attacking, kill them. There was something more to it. I just never actually managed to finish those games, but you do not have to go quite as much out of your way to find the storyline in the new game, and it obviously looks a lot better, but that's normal because the old games are, what, 20 years old now, maybe a little more. They're ancient, and considering that, they actually do look fairly good. But yeah, so does the new one, and it is still, especially depending on which difficulty you select, it is still a very difficult game. but very fun. And I think it sort of stays in the spirit of the original game. It somewhat simplifies some aspects, but there are games where like, in the name of simplifying a remake, certain features just get removed, like, oh, item management was so difficult, so you don't get items anymore, stuff like that. No immediate, like, examples spring to mind, but I'm sure you've seen similar things where remakes or sequels to games have removed a lot of the features you really liked. I noticed, actually, where I did notice it was in Final Fantasy. Particularly Final Fantasy 13 and 13.2. Now I've heard that 13.2 is a little better, but from what I've seen, it still suffers from some of the same things. Like the typical exploration thing in Final Fantasy was, I feel, completely removed. It's like straight, very narrow tunnel tube levels, I think is the term for what they did. There's barely any hidden secrets, barely any optional content. It's all like, oh, we didn't want players to miss some of our content, so we forced players to go through all of our content, so maybe they wouldn't notice that there actually is no bonus content and the 20 hours you spent on the game is actually all the game has to offer. It's a bit more than 20 hours, but it's kind of that thinking which annoyed me about the game. I never got the feeling that I got in other Final Fantasy games, that I had the freedom to explore and there was all this stuff in the world that wasn't actually relevant to the main quest, but I could still do. Never got that feeling, because it seemed like, aside from the main quest, there was like maybe a mini game, maybe, but not really. And yeah. So it's not like that. For example, they've reduced the squad size, which I was grateful for, because managing 25 soldiers was a pain. And I think in the original one you could get up to 40 soldiers per battle. And that was just insane. Or rather, it would be insane. As I said, I've never played to that point, so I don't know precisely, but even just managing like 20 soldiers in a single fight is a bit tiresome. And to my mind, it took a lot of sort of action out of the game, because you spend so much time just planning ahead where you're going to move your soldiers and trying to get them all into cover. And so a common strategy you're going to see when you're watching XCOM, original XCOM videos on YouTube, is people only using like 6 of their soldiers until one of them dies, and then they bring in a replacement. So cutting that down actually helped, to my mind, make it a little more, sort of make you feel more of a connection with the soldiers, I guess. And I'm sensing the end of the map, hopefully. Because quite honestly, I'm getting ever so slightly tired of these guys. Now, don't expect the main dungeon to be that difficult, by the way. I'm not saying it'll be terribly easy. We are playing on very hard, but obviously I'm currently facing enemies of my own level. And oh dear, there's a phase beast. I'll get to that in a second. I'm not certain if we've come across a phase beast in the original dungeon yet. I think we did, but just in case I'm gonna explain what they do anyway. They are sort of not very aggressive enemies that you sometimes find on the map. I'll try dealing with these random tree things here first.
Your pet is hurt. Your pet is hurt.
Because they are
Is hurt.
incredibly annoying.
Your pet is free.
And this is the phase beast, by the way. Now, if he is singled out, I wouldn't mind killing him first, of course. And the phase beasts are not terribly strong. They do have a relatively large amount of health. But that's not really the reason you want to kill them. That is, when you kill them, they open a phase portal. So let's go in, I guess. And I'm drinking some coffee, by the way, so...
Has fled.
Oh dear. There we go. Sorry about that. I try to avoid that, but time is an issue at the moment, which is why there haven't been so many videos.
Your pet is fleeing.
So this is a tiled set, which, again, in the main dungeon we haven't come across yet, and it has these goblin hounds, which have a really nasty charge attack, so I'm gonna try to avoid that. And also the problem on this particular one is actually that you have very little space in the beginning to get away from the enemies.
Your pet is hurt.
This is actually where I died the first time on this character.
Your pet has fled.
Because nasty as it was right in the entrance, this troll here, basically, he was there as well, but he was a champion troll.
Is hurt.
Which take,
I am overburdened.
what, 5 times as long to kill? Okay, as far as I know, pets cannot depart from these phase beast places. And I'm already getting giant health potions here. I could really switch to the slightly bigger ones. So yeah, in here you're sort of fairly limited in terms of your inventory space. Knowing that you could really try to empty out entirely before you go in here, but I kind of forgot, and quite honestly it's not that big of a deal. You can always just drop some white items.
Your pet is hurt.
But yeah, you can't activate town portals from here, you can't send your pet away. There is basically no real way out of this. Well, you have to finish it. You could cheat, but I'm not even certain that works that well. Okay, there's a troll juggernaut. These aren't champions, they're just slightly stronger versions of trolls, as you can see. But they are still very slow, so that makes them quite easy to deal with if you're a ranged character. As a melee character, it's a bit more problematic, but yeah, it should be similarly possible to just run away when he starts his swing. Okay, that doesn't appear to be a mimic. There we go. Oh wow. Did you see that in the corner? Sadly they blew themselves up, so I can't show you their welling. Oh dear. These guys, as you can see, they're firing sort of rockets at me. The good thing is it takes them a while to explode, so when you see them, they're kind of like sticking into the ground. Unless you're confident you can tank them, just move away slightly. And here we have a boss.
Is for you.
I do hate the sort of resurrection boss guys. Like he resurrects other dwarves, which these guys are. No, goblins actually, they're goblins. Sorry, I got confused. Dwarves come later. They're in the game, but not quite yet. Okay, these don't appear to be mimics either. Sorry about that. I do have a noticeable accent, but I'm trying to at least pronounce the stuff reasonably correctly, so I do not speak quite as badly as some other German video producers do. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm trying to sort of cut down on it a little bit. And that was it. So that's a very short phase portal. They can be longer and more interesting, and they've actually been made a lot more interesting in the second game, which I might make a playthrough of. I've started a co-op run in German, but with everyone being busy, it's been like months since last we had actually found some time to record, possibly, and the last 2 times someone had connection issues. So, yeah, it's not like I've given up on that thing. I keep trying to find the time, but like, I'm doing it with, funnily enough, my girlfriend and my ex-girlfriend, which is not an issue. The issue is they're both also studying and working and having other hobbies, and it ends up being incredibly complicated just finding an evening where all of us have time to get together. Well, not get together, we're obviously playing online via Skype, but to all get on Skype and actually play. So, yeah. Just because that thing had so much more armor, I'm gonna have to switch to it. I'm losing some health, but that's okay. I'm fairly certain the raw DPS does not take all the bonuses into account, so I'm getting rid of that.
My pack is full.
Your pet has
And just like that, my pet is done anyway. And that's one thing which is kind of weird. I am only on the 2nd level, as you can see, but I can't because of the overlay. But because I am of a reasonably high level myself, like level 13 is not very high, but higher than level 1 or 2. But yeah, because of that, it still takes my pet 2 minutes to get into town, despite the fact that I'm actually I'm not very deep in the Shadow Vault just yet. And this has already been 20 minutes. I had expected this level to be shorter, to be perfectly honest, but I'll see if I can find the end of it soon. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to make a cut. I'm hoping. Yeah, there it is. Good. So, sorry, I bumped my mic there. I know that usually comes up as a fairly terrible noise in the video. And when I see that during editing, I get rid of it, but I don't always see it while editing. Okay. I can get rid of this. Oh, and I have 20,000 gold. Very nice.
Hi there.
And I'm just handing in these quests. I'm not yet taking the new ones. Okay, level up. 3 dexterity, 2 defense, I guess. Skills. Oh, I'm level 15, right? I should have gotten a new tier of skills, so we're gonna have to look at those. Explosive Shot. Fires a projectile from any equipped ranged weapon that detonates an impact, dealing damage to foes within 4.5 meters. I used to really love this skill and use it instead of Ricochet, but I've sort of grown attached to Ricochet a little more, so I'm not gonna use this one as much anymore. Rogue. We got martial weapons expertise, in case we want to fight with swords, hammers, axes, polearms, all that stuff. Which I don't.
I just got a new ship.
So, not for me. And Arbiter. Flechette Trap. Hurl a device that sprays foes with piercing flechettes. I think the traps were fairly useful, but I'm not speccing them just now. I'm actually waiting for this one. This one was fairly good, and I think the shock trap was also quite nice. And Pet Mastery makes my pet more powerful, less easy to kill, and decreases the time it takes to travel to town. Not really that relevant to me either, so I think I'll actually go with ranged weapons expertise. Okay, now let's look at this guy and see if he sells me any... I don't even know what I want. Maybe a gun would be nice. Dexterity and magic. I probably won't have the magic. This one only requires a level, which means it's probably not that good. Let's try this one. And only requires a level. Strength and dexterity means I probably couldn't use it either. So let's check Misk. I could probably use a better necklace. Trinket, they're called. So let's try. Okay, 5 armor. Okay, that's terribly unfortunate. 139, not very good. Okay, so I guess I'll actually make a cut. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.